Recruiting as a sales function. Figure out ride the wave of acronyms. All right, so recruiting. It's war, right? You are either going to be killed or you're going to get the kill, right? It's a war on talent. All our companies, whether we've got 3 people, we've got 100 people, 300 people, we run on people, right? The best people make the difference. 3 great people is way better than 10 okay people. So it's war, right? You need a battle plan, right? That's me. Plotting my strategy to get the best people into the organization, right? So here is our kind of high-level battle plan at Conductor. We've got, well, one is, so the first thing we always think about, there's a big metrics component to this. If you don't see a lot of people, then you are not going to find the right people, right? So you want to think about this as a funnel, just like you want to drive, visitors to your site, you want to drive leads to the top of the funnel. You got to see a lot of cadets. Next thing is focus, right? So from the day I started the company, Amish loves this story. We had 2 engineers that were making $400 a week building our product, and I didn't have a lot to do. So I actually downloaded all the resumes from all the big business schools, and I would bring all these guys into my office. Maybe I would hire them at some point in the future. Maybe I'd hire them today, but I knew they'd all most of them would get jobs at corporate companies. Subsequently, they could become customers of ours, and that actually manifested itself nicely. But you got to be focused. You got to have a sniper approach. For the first 30, 40 people at Conductor, I've done literally thousands of targeted outreach, using LinkedIn at scale, writing people notes. Today, now that we've got about 100 people, we've got full-time recruiters in-house that literally pick off people, and it's a very kind of deliberate, calculated approach to get the best people into the organization. Next thing is you got to kill it in the soft stuff, right? So getting people into the door is one thing, but closing them is important, right? So we do everything to just kill it in the soft stuff, right? We win every single award on culture. When people come into our office, right, they get greeted like it's an orchestrated process. Our office manager comes up. How are you doing? I know that you were here today. Your name is on our agenda. You get this little folder. Little folder has all the little accolades about the company. You've got an agenda of who you're meeting with, right? And then we've got this little book that has a little scorecard of the person that you're talking to today with questions about them on the back, so you get to know a little bit about them. But we did this to them. They sit in the lobby for 5 minutes, and they get to see everybody buzzing. Even if the person who's interviewing is ready, we make them wait so they can get a vibe and feel the organization. But you got to kill it in the soft stuff, right? That stuff matters. Then you got to map out the close, right? Who here is trying to hire engineers? We all are, right? So, we've got like a plot for these guys. So when an engineer comes in, usually in the first 24 hours, we know if we want them or not, right? Not always, but when you have someone really good, you're like, I want this guy. So what do, right? What we do is we have a go, no go. Do we want to give this guy an offer today, or do when do we want to actually give the offer? Now, it depends on when that person's process is, right? Does that person just start the process and we're like, hey, this guy's going to take 2 weeks because he's methodical and he just hasn't been looking for a job in 5 years. So we actually, a lot of times, we know we want to hire somebody. We know the offer we want to give them, but we actually go through a little process like this. We get them engaged more. We make them think we don't want to hire them, then they come in. Then we have them come to a team event. Then we give them the offer the day before they're at the end of the process. Then I call them up. We do some nurturing along the way, right? But literally, when we want an engineer, we've got a process. We've got it mapped out. It's very, very calculated. So a few other little side notes here, right? So sometimes it takes 1,000 swings of the axe, right? You want someone, they're working somewhere else. They aren't taking a meeting, or you like them, but don't be afraid to be persistent, right? Don't be afraid to keep sending them a note every week. Hey, check out this thing. Hey, check out this thing. Hey, check out this thing. I have literally camped out on someone's porch in Manhattan because I wanted to hire them. Now that didn't work out because I oversold the guy. I convinced him, and then he joined, and he was sitting at the desk. He's like, I guess this guy really doesn't want to be here, but he's being here because I oversold him. But it takes a lot of swings of the axe sometimes to get really good people. So don't be hesitant to do that. Last thing is countermeasures, right? So our company was kind of like this. Then we sold our entire business, went from 20 million in revenue to pretty much nothing, and then we had to build it back up. We had all our engineers during that drop. But the culture was pretty fucked up, and we had some people leave, and my recruiters I was getting the sense recruiters were trying to feast on our company, right? So I literally called up all the recruiters in Manhattan that we knew that were good recruiters, you know, Dave Partners and all these different guys that are calling our engineers. I signed them all up. I got non-solicits in all the agreements, and we didn't lose any engineers, and we literally haven't lost engineers. And if you fuckers hire my engineers, I'll kill you. So good data here, right? So last 12 months, we've had 450 interviews, right? That's people who've come in, you know, we've seen resumes, we've come in, and the thing that we're most proud of is when we give an offer, 88% of the time, that person says yes. So it's calculated, it's important, and you know, good people make great people make great businesses.